fight fans. This is Chris Guzman with your weekly Thursday night injection of boxing talk, updates and all-out arguments. This is your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour brought to you by George Rogie Insurance. It is Thursday night, February the 5th, 2009. We are live from Leg Up Production Studios in Hobart, Indiana. Nestor Soda Popinski Kegabine. Who the hell is Nestor Soda Popinski Kegabine?
What the hell was that?
I am combining... Okay, start that one over. I'll wait. I was kidding. Are you serious? You're serious. Good. Okay, I'm not doing that crap anymore. Nestor Garza Romero, what is going on with you? And who the hell is Nestor Soda Popinski Kegabine?
I have no idea.
That sucked.
No clue, but that was pretty good. No, everything's going great.
Send your resumes in to Tim Patterson.
We had a nice day, the wife and I. Want to say hello. She's listening in. But we had a nice day, and
Rennie, that's for you.
I'm hoping that my daughter gets better. She's having real bad headaches, so gotta worry about that.
And
But other than
she
that,
lives in the house with you, has
Yeah,
headaches,
she
and
does.
you're surprised.
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of shocked.
Okay.
I'm a very easy person to get along with.
And let's move right along.
How you doing?
I'm hoping nothing serious. It's nothing serious.
I hope not either. But
Okay.
We'll see.
That's one thing. You're hired. Because Aim will never ask me how the hell I'm doing. He's like, oh, I'm doing all right. Tell you about my baby. Tell you about my wife, and then, okay, let's go.
Get right into
How was my Amel impersonation there?
That was pretty good.
No, that didn't sound much like him. Want to see my scar? Amel's got like the coolest scar right now. That's so manly. Timmy the producer Patterson, how you doing tonight,
All
man?
right, you can tell there's not too many people here because you're actually going to say hi to me. I'm doing pretty good, buddy.
Oh, speaking of, yeah, I don't ever say anything that's it.
Had a good time at the Wolves game last night with you, and
Chicago Wolves.
I appreciate my boss calling a weather day, which was the nicest weather day I've ever seen for a sign guy. So I did
weather day.
A weather day, yes. Kids had school, but I had a weather day. So I did tell my boss that my birthday is on a Sunday, that I heard there's like 5 miles an hour winds supposed to be happening June 22nd. So the day after my birthday, could you call a weather day?
5 mile winds. That is freaking vicious.
Yes.
For a sign guy.
Yeah, sign guy.
I told
For
him-
a sign guy.
You know how bad I would be, Chris, if I had to sign? I can't spell.
Yeah, you can't spell now. So
I
can
think I
imagine.
just told a deaf listener to burn your house down. I'm not really sure. I'm
And
not
you gave him
really-
the address too. I saw that.
I'm not really. Yeah. But I stuttered.
Yeah, they'll burn the neighbor's house down.
Oh, jeez. BJ Flores, cruiserweight sensation, will be our guest a little bit later on, about the 8:30, 8:40, 8:45 time period right there. BJ Flores, his name was thrown around quite a bit early and late last month because if you want to make money in the cruiserweight division, there's only a couple names to throw around. That will make you money. Obviously, Thomas Adamek is the champion, but you've got Cunningham, of course, and then you've got B.J. Flores, and you've got Jonathan Banks. You've got Enzo Macronelli, who was a champion and is still strutting around with some gold, even though David Hay whooped on him. But bottom line, any serious cruiserweight talks that don't involve Jonathan Banks or BJ Flores are not talks worth even mentioning. You're talking about two of the top guys in the division, and if you're going to talk about cruiserweights and not talk about BJ Flores or Jonathan Banks, it's not even worth our time.
Was it Lacey in there at one time as well too?
Not a cruiser. Jeff Lacey. Well, he did fight.
Or is he like?
Well, he fought at light heavy.
Yeah.
But I think he just
I couldn't remember if it was light heavy.
he fought light heavy, not a cruiser. But yeah, Lacey just got whooped by Jermaine Taylor, didn't he?
Yeah. Just knocked around.
First up on the docket tonight, Joe Calzaghe retires officially. Let me go ahead and throw out the quote that he gave to BBC Sport. It was a difficult decision, but I achieved everything I wanted to achieve in boxing, he says. I've been world champion for 11 years. I've got no other goals to go for. You can never say never in this game, but I can't see myself boxing again. There's loads of things I want to do. I'm proud to be one of the only few fighters in history to retire undefeated. End quote. Do I care that Calzaghe retired undefeated? Not at 46-0.
No.
48-0, I'd be like, do one more.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't want him hanging out with Marciano's record. I want Marciano to stay in his own thing. I mean, I was scared when Valuev was getting close. Because you can't have Rocky Marciano and Nikolai Valuev sharing the 49-0 because Marciano fought really hard guys.
Why do I get the impression that a lot of these fighters, when they get close to that 48, 49, or that 47, 48, that a lot of them either don't want to break that record, that's one of those sacred records in boxing that nobody wants.
As it should be.
Nobody wants to. Let's just leave that alone.
Well,
I
think here's what happens, Nestor. Once you get
me.
close to that record, everybody starts looking at who you fought. And, like Chris is saying that Rocky fought tough guys all the time. These guys here probably are fighting some toss-up guys, some easy guys, some janitors at the beginning.
Well,
and if you get close to that record and start getting talked about, that's gonna come out.
By the way, before a guy with his finger on BoxRec is ready to tear me open, Marciano did not fight only tough guys, but Valuev has not fought any excellent fighters.
That's what I was going to say.
Not any excellent fighters in their prime. Because Evander Holyfield is an excellent fighter 10 years ago.
Right. Or excellent fighters that are more world renowned. I'm sure he fought some very good fighters in the Soviet Union.
Sure.
But none that we've heard of.
And therefore aren't going to be all that noteworthy.
Exactly.
They're not definitely not household names.
Right.
For Cal, and I'm surprised that I fell into Valuev talk in talking about Calzaghe. They're very different fighters.
Correct.
But I mean, we're just talking about records here. Calzaghe retires beating Roy Jones. Is there a better name to have on the end of your record than Roy Jones? I mean, who else is there for Calzaghe to fight at light heavy? I mean, truly.
I can't see anybody else.
I mean, there are guys, but would it make any difference? What I'm saying is, he's on this high right now of his last two fights are Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones Jr. I mean, you don't get more storied than those two names.
You really don't.
I mean, taking on a Chad Dawson, a young lion, who might even beat Calzaghe, isn't going to help anything. Okay, beating Bernard Hopkins is one thing, beating Roy Jones is another, and then losing to a young guy isn't going to help anyone's stock. It's not going to help the sport. It's not going to do anything.
The only stock it would help would be probably a Chad Dawson's.
Well, sure. You think Chad's going to write Calzaghe a check?
Yeah, but other than that, I don't see it. I like the move. I think Calzaghe deserves to go out on top.
What about Tarver? Tarver's a lanky guy. He hasn't really had his heart in the game from what I can see for a couple of years now.
There again, I don't see a point in it for Calzaghe. Tarver doesn't add anything to his resume. It really doesn't. I mean,
Tarver, in a weird way, adds less than
losing to a Chad Dawson.
That's not what I was going for. You're right. But no.
Beating Tarver, in my opinion, does nothing. I mean, even if it is losing to a Chad Dawson in a 12-round decision.
This is where Tarver beating Jones does not mean that Tarver is worth more than Jones.
Correct.
To have on your record.
Correct.
I mean, he beat him twice, knocked him out one of the two times.
Right,
but getting Roy Jones on your record somehow, and I agree with this, is worth more dividends on the tail end than having an Antonio Tarver on your record.
I've never been a big Tarver fan. It's just unfortunate that he's was an excellent fighter, probably still is very good. But he hasn't had his heart in it, and to me, if I'm paying a professional athlete, I want him to give me 110%. I don't want him to give me 89% or 92%. I want it all.
Well, the man that's really pissed right now in the light heavyweight division is Glenn Johnson because he wants Chad Dawson. Dawson just signed to fight Tarver for a second time a couple of weeks back, And Dawson put out a statement right away. If you want to see what happens in Tarver against Dawson 2, just go to YouTube and put in Dawson Tarver 1. He said, why the hell do they have to fight again when I'm sitting here?
Yeah.
The most avoided guy in the sport. He still holds claim to that. James Toney, who's been fighting at heavy for a while, and I mean heavy, says he wants to fight Bernard Hopkins. Says he can knock out Bernard Hopkins.
The only thing James Toney's knocked out lately is probably a pizza.
James Toney knocking out Bernard Hopkins. I would absolutely. What would I do if he could do that? All right, James Toney isn't knocking out anybody. I mean, no one. If he's lucky, he'll use the fat slip and slide motion that he uses in the corner, and he'll juke and jive, and he'll do his thing, and it'll be hard to land on him. But for him to knock somebody, I can't tell you the last guy that I mean, you have to go back to like a Vasily Jirov fight for even a really good fight that he was in. And what was that? 8 years ago? I mean, come on. If you really think, Tony, that you're going to fight Hopkins, you and Michael Phelps have been hanging out.
Yeah, at a party in North Carolina.
At a party, yes. Francois Botha, or Botha if you're American, is going to be fighting again against a 34-year-old whose name is Ron Guerrero, who is 20-15. Botha is up for a belt on this, too.
Are you kidding me?
The vacant WBF heavyweight belt. What is this? What if I'm the WBF? Why do I want Franz Botha to wear my belt?
You want somebody to wear it because nobody's even heard of the WBF. Somebody's got to be wearing it.
I mean,
It should be the WTF. What the?
Yeah, because right now it's, well,
well, his nickname is the White Buffalo. Is that the WBF? White Buffalo?
yeah, it could be White Buffalo.
That was really stupid. I know. I get that. I get that. That's the Intercontinental title of boxing, right? That's what Pete the Hugh Perry says right there. The Intercontinental title. That's an old WWF.
Is there a TV belt
A
too,
TV title, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Larry Zbyszko, the TV champion. That's all crap. Francois Botha. That was the most memorable fight of Botha's career was when he fought Mike Tyson. And after a few rounds, they ended up... I don't remember how that fight ended, but I know at the press conference afterwards, they asked Mike Tyson, what do you say to the allegations that you were trying to tangle his arm in a way to actually snap both his arm right there in the middle of the ring? And Mike Tyson just stares at the guy, at the reporter, and he wipes the sweat off his face, and he goes, yes, that's true, next question. Yeah, I tried to break his arm, and he was trying to kill me.
Yeah.
You're lucky all
Trying
I
to
did.
break his jaw too. Is there a problem with that?
Ricardo El Matador Mayorga pulled out at the last minute of his fight with Angulo, who is 14-0 with 11 knockouts. Angulo obviously just wants Mayorga on his record, but for Mayorga to just pull out of nowhere, Gary Shaw's calling him a bunch of punk names, which is not calling Gary Shaw a punk, but he's throwing names that are befitting a punk. Interesting. Brian the Beast Minto, who is 32-2 with 21 knockouts, is targeting Cristobal Areola with the most one of the most unfortunate last names that I've come across in a number of years. But it's even more unfortunate to get hit by this guy. I've been a fan of Chris Areola for a while. I didn't know how big a fan I was until his last couple of fights, though, because this guy,
huge.
he just does not care that you're hitting him. He says he needs to get hit once in a while just to stay awake. He says, you don't even get my attention
Serious sleep apnea.
You don't even get my attention for the first 2 or 3 rounds.
Man.
He knocked his last opponent out, and they said, what are you going to do now? He goes, I know a lot of people say that they go to Disneyland. I'm going home for some menudo.
Attaboy.
Going home for some
Attaboy.
Mexican tripe soup is what that is. That's good,
Attaboy.
good stuff. Very, very interesting. Marco Antonio Barrera is going to still be fighting on March 14th, Manchester Evening News Arena against Amir Khan. There was some drama there because in training, Barrera actually got cut over the eye, and they said that there was no way he was with all the stitches. I mean, at one point I read that he got 20 stitches. It turns out Barrera got 2 stitches.
Oh.
So they're just playing the times 10 game.
Obviously.
All these idiots out there that are reporting that stuff.
Thank God he didn't get 20 stitches. He'd have gotten 200 according to that.
I know. That's
his whole top of
that's
his
like how many Amel has. Have you seen the scar?
No,
I know. I'm going to bring up Amel scar 100 times tonight. But interesting stuff. Barrera is going to be fighting. They said the 2 stitches will be more than healed, so the baby-faced assassin will be clear in order to fight.
Assassin.
That's what they call
that.
Got to have some UFC news, boys.
Oh.
I'm not about to talk about their fighters. I'm going to talk about how manly tough they are.
Okay.
And I couldn't possibly do this with Eric here because he would just belt me one, and I would deserve it. But the manliest men in the world, the men that they chew glass, and they bite railroad spikes.
Okay.
They are coming out with their own line of jewelry.
Stop it.
The men's octagon bracelets that look like the octagon that they fight in. They're supposedly sterling silver, very, very fancy, very, very schmancy, and very,
Manly.
very manly, very, very manly.
Yeah.
I've never seen a WBC bracelet.
No. Or WBA.
I've never seen any of that. I've just never seen it. I'm not saying it's not out there.
Ring magazine necklace.
Definitely not for sale to the general public. There might be something that Suleiman wears that has WBC letters on it, but he's not selling them on the website. So we've got some men's octagon bracelets for the UFC. If you'd like to buy some officially licensed UFC bracelets, log on. Feel free to log on. www.menwhowearprettyjewelry.com. Got to talk a little bit about Juan Urango and Herman Ngojo, or Nguju. Relax, Pete. Relax, Pete. I was ripping on them. Oh, video froze. Well, we're not very good looking guys anyway, so not to worry. Just keep listening to our voice. Audio is also gone.
I got you. Keep going. You're on the...
We're all good. Juan Urango. Juan Urango whooped some tail on Friday night, the night after our last broadcast. Herman Ngojo fought hard. He stayed upright. I mean, there were a couple of knockdowns and everything, but Juan Urango just beat him to the punch and used his in and out very effectively. He was able to get in with the jab and then scoot back and start again. That's something that fighters don't do very often. They get in there, they figure out that they crack the case, that they get in, and then they hang out too long in there.
And then everybody gets in there, ends up getting tied up and stuff.
Urango wasn't interested in doing that. He got in, tore up the body, and got out, and then started all over again with what worked. That's the sign of a true championship caliber guy, and he is the new champion. Interestingly, he shouldn't have been the champion. They made Ricky Hatton the super champion, so they released the regular belt back down, and Urango's only loss was to Ricky Hatton. So you take this and you put this, and it's a bunch of garbage. So I can't really speak intelligently on that. But what I can speak intelligently on are those scores. The scores were downright ridiculous.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
Robert Doyle had that fight scored 120 to 106, which means not 1 point given in favor of Juan Urango. That's simply not the fight that I watched. I just watched it again right before I came on the broadcast. Judge Richard Green gave it 118 to 108, and Pasquale Procopio 116 to 110. I could see the 116 to 110, but no. When you start getting into the 118s and the 120s to 106, that's beyond a blowout. So yeah, way to go, Juan Urango. You fought a hell of a fight, but no, not like that. How we doing, Tim?
Keep going. You're fine.
Because we're gonna take a break after this next break.
All right, take a break now.
Take a break now?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. We're gonna take care of a little bit of a technical difficulty. This is your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rogan Insurance, www.bolopunchboxinghour.com, streaming to you live, as always, on Ustream.tv.